afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young on this final week of September. It's unbelievable. Fall is, taking hold, but summer still seems to be holding on. It's a beautiful afternoon. Leaves are patching red. We're going to like that. I have an awesome guest in here tonight, and we're going to talk to him in a minute. Got to read these great underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So, we got Pacini's Pizza in Middleborough. They deliver. We got New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We got Richie's Auto Care in Hanover. We got Barnacote Monuments in Middleborough. We got Genuine's Inspection in Middleborough. We got the Granite Guys in Halifax. We got South Shore Trains and more in Pembroke. We got Good Old Dave's Automotive right here on Route 58 in Hanson. We got Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We got Pembroke Radiator in Pembroke. We got the Gunrunner LLC in Middleborough, dedicated to your Second Amendment rights. We got DNS Auto Works in Abington. And we got Brian's Auto and Tire Service in Middleborough. I want to thank you guys very much. And now on that note, I'm going to interview this gentleman. I'm going to introduce this gentleman here. He goes by Huff. His name is Kevin Huffness. He's a financial advisor. He works for a company in Marshfield. Say it again, sir.
Bay State Financial.
Bay State Financial, right in Massachusetts, in the breadbasket of the South Shore. We're going to talk to him. We're going to profile him, and he's got some plans for futuristic lives like ours, who people that are living a long time, and he's going to show us how to keep the money flowing throughout every living day of your life. So, Kevin, first of all, I want to thank you for coming in and being on my show today.
Thank you, Harrison.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, like what I do with every guest, first of all, I want to find out. I take it you're a lifelong resident of the area, correct?
I grew up in Braintree.
There you go.
Early ages, and just moved down the street to Marshfield.
There you go. Nice move
about
up.
37 years ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now, a lot of the people I interview are in entertainment. In a sense, you are too, in that you know how to present things, and that's important to be a presenter. The presenter is what really gets it going, gets it flowing. But what I always do with every guest is I like to find out what they were like as kids, how they got to where they're at. So tell me about what you were like as a kid. I'm looking at you and I'm seeing a guy that probably played high school football, and it was kind of like looked up to by the other kids in the neighborhood. And
I didn't play football. I played baseball.
Okay, I figured you looked athletic.
I was pretty good, but then I had to retire in my teenage years because I had to work to pay for college.
Okay.
Yep. So I went to Stonehill College.
Great school. I live right near it. I live about a mile away.
Yep.
Okay.
And started working at New England Life's home office in Boston.
Okay. What kind of a firm are they?
Insurance.
Okay.
Insurance and investment.
And what year was this about?
1978.
Okay, so 43 years ago.
43. Yeah, very good. Quick.
Yeah, I'm good, yeah. I just graduated high school the year before. So, okay.
Good, yeah.
I was living in the Boston Globe to Holbrook in 1978, so you were,
good. So I spent 9 years in the corporate environment.
Okay.
And then I went out to become a controller for a large insurance office and did that for about 6 or 7 years.
Where?
Actually in the North Shore.
Okay.
In Linfield.
Linfield, great area.
It was actually one of the largest New England Life insurance office.
Wouldn't be John Hancock, would it?
No, New England Life.
No, New England Life. Okay, got it. Okay.
And then I transitioned from the controller position to become a financial advisor in the early 90s. I've been doing that ever since.
Oh, okay.
You talk about acting. Yeah, as a financial advisor, you have to be a people person, be able to communicate,
right.
Paint a picture about what you're trying to explain to them, have them understand that, and hopefully implement what you're recommending to them.
That's right. Okay, one question. Why did you go from selling insurance to financial advice? Or what's the difference, basically?
Well, it's the same thing.
It's pretty close,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's the exact same thing?
A financial advisor is the umbrella.
Okay.
And I don't want to say sell, but you help people obtain, let's say, life insurance, investments, disability, different products.
It sounds like what you do now is more broad than just insurance because it covers
definitely.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So you just broaden your horizon, so to speak, for other people, and it's obviously made you more profitable too.
Right.
All right. Well, now we had a conversation on the phone when we set this interview up, and we talked about the fact that people are definitely living longer and they're aging slower, and you and I are pretty good proof of that. And in that having been said, what we want to do is what your deal is. You want to tell people how they can keep their flow of money going longer as long as they go. So. Well, let's talk about that. You mapped out some plans?
Yeah, so what I want to do, Harrison, is take a step back.
Okay.
So you can break down your life into 4 segments, 8,000 days per segment.
Okay.
So the first 22 years.
Well, you're telling people is that 8,000 days is 22 years.
22 years,
approximately, right.
So the first session is you're born.
Yep.
Go to high school, you graduate, you go to college.
Right.
So that's the first, call it 20 to 22 years.
Okay.
The second one is growing. You start a job, you get married. And again, I'm talking about the typical
Yes.
entity of a person
Yep.
going forward.
American life.
Different people can take different roads.
Right.
So I'm just using this one as an example.
Okay.
You buy a house and you have children.
Right.
So that's the second phase.
Yep.
Third phase is you're maturing. You're doing very well at your job. You're taking more vacations. You're getting your kids through college. And all of a sudden, maybe grandkids start to appear.
Right.
All right. And the fourth section is the longevity or the aging of people as they retire. And that's a whole separate segment. So again, that's 8,000 days with that, with 22 years. So what I'm getting involved with people now is to focus on that, what I call longevity planning.
Right.
The last phase of the 8,000 days of your life that could carry you into your late 80s, early 90s.
Or beyond.
Or beyond.
Right.
And longevity planning, believe it or not, is the fastest growing but most misunderstood market in the arena today.
Okay. Well, a quick question about that. Now, I know everybody needs to plan for the future. My thinking is that I'm guessing that most people, especially the 20-somethings and 30-somethings, probably aren't looking toward the long term like you're talking about. And that's and in a way, what you need to do is convince them how that's true. And you need to with statistics, I suppose, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, if I'm working with a younger person,
Yeah.
I try to sit them down and actually, because I went through it myself,
We all
obviously.
did. Yep.
To kind of say, okay, I'm not going to tell you should do what I did, but these are the things that you're going to experience as you get older.
Right.
And the important thing is to lay a foundation now while you're young,
Right.
whatever that may be, to build on that as you grow
Okay.
and mature in life. A lot of times I'm working with people that are single. They'll eventually, maybe they won't get married, maybe they will, maybe they'll have children, maybe they won't.
Right.
Maybe they'll buy a house, maybe they won't. But again, just try to work with them as they move along in their life.
Okay.
The longevity topic is so important today
Yep.
that MIT has put together what they call an age lab at
Cool.
MIT.
Okay.
Because they're realizing
What is it?
they have all these different people, researchers,
Okay.
doctors that are in this lab or let's say entity
Okay.
at MIT, and they're trying to figure out, for government,
Sort of like brainstorming about
brainstorming
Okay,
for
got it.
government, for
Yep.
businesses, because this is a huge market.
Right.
Because let's say a generation or 2 generations ago, people worked in one job, they retired, they didn't do anything, and then they died, unfortunately,
Right.
a short time after. Today, people are taking better care of themselves.
Right.
They're exercising more.
Yep.
They're watching what they put in their mouth.
Yep.
They're trying to live a better life themselves, and modern medicine's better.
Absolutely.
As people continue to, let's say you and I,
Yep.
if we continue to keep ourselves healthy, modern medicine exponentially is going to improve. So where we are today, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it may be 20 or 50-fold the advancements of modern medicine to keep us alive longer. But you have to do your part. You got to stay healthy.
Right. Okay. Well, does your plan include like giving people health advice and
So
okay.
you're very good lead in. So as a financial advisor, my role going forward with people that are in this arena
Yep.
is to help them enter that phase and work with them as they follow that phase.
Okay.
Whether it's not just their investments or their, let's say, insurance, it's what do they do? Do they downsize? Do they sell something? Do they travel? Do they, the children, do they start dispersing their assets to their children?
Okay, just hold up a second. Now, do you meet with people on a one-on-one basis?
Yes,
And talk,
yeah.
Okay, now in your firm, how many people do you have working there?
I'm glad you brought, Bay State Financial probably is one of the largest independent financial firms in the country.
Is it okay? Is it independently owned?
It's
in
independently
Massachusetts?
owned. David Porter
Okay,
is
he's your
the
boss.
managing partner.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
And we probably have I would say a little over 300 people like myself.
In that one office?
No,
Oh, you mean around
in
the-
the,
oh, okay.
in the New England area.
I see what you mean. So
Yeah,
there's
we
one
have,
of a lot
we
of
have a
offices,
dozen
right?
offices throughout New England.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
But that being said, I have clients throughout the country because, we're
You're
not
online.
worldwide, but just in the country.
Right.
But, so behind Bay State, I work with Bay State, I work in the Marshfield office. We have 11 other offices throughout New England.
Okay.
But behind me is a lot of support that provides me help. So if I meet with you and you need estate planning help, we have people at Bay State that can help you.
Okay.
If you have legal issues that you need help with.
Okay.
Or if I find that you need certain things and I need to go into my back office at Bay State to develop the program to then present to you.
Okay, let me bring something up that we talked about the other day. Now, as you know, I had a heck of a time getting to renew my driver's license.
Yes.
And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because you mentioned the legal thing. Now, I got it done. They sent the birth certificate from North Carolina, and they got it to me on time, and everything worked out great. I got it done yesterday. But let's say, could you? But when I asked you about it, you said, well, you said you'd ask around. But I'm wondering, that was a legal issue I was dealing with. I'm just wondering, could you have rushed it through somehow? And if not, that's fine. I'm
Yeah,
just
but
curious.
that's motor vehicle, that's the registry.
It is the registry,
Yeah,
but
I'm
remember, sometimes people's livelihoods depend on their ability to get around.
Yeah.
And that's what
yeah.
you're focusing on. But I'm
Right.
just wondering. It's okay, no
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah.
I'm just curious about that.
So the legal aspect would be estate planning for you.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, it's estate planning, but you're planning your death. You're
Right.
saying, okay, I'm here today, I have these assets, what do I want these assets to do after I pass away?
All right,
And you have
okay.
to plan accordingly, because if you don't, the state is gonna tell you what to do with
All
your
right. So
assets.
do you do will planning too? I guess.
I have an estate planning
That's what-
attorney.
okay, that's what you
right,
mean by that.
I
All right,
work with,
okay.
right. So these are the different, so I'm like the quarterback that
Right.
meets with you.
Got it.
I throw the ball, you catch it, and I understand the different pieces that you have going on.
Right.
And I bring in specialists,
Okay.
estate planning specialists, or another specialist, whatever area that we're talking about, to help you, so you're all set as you continue on.
Reminds me of those commercials from Financial Security. I don't know what I think
Yeah.
it was Liberty Mutual or something. And they showed the girl catching the ball and running into the end zone.
Yeah.
From
yeah.
years ago, it was during usually Monday Night Football in the '70s, but that's what I'm. No, all right. So how do you reach out to the masses to give them? I assume you're online. How do people find
Well,
you?
hopefully today what we're doing here will attract
Oh,
some
of course.
people.
I'm sure it will. But go ahead.
But however with the forum, existing clients, their relatives,
Yep.
my own networking.
Okay.
I want to have people realize the importance of longevity, because people sometimes, they get bombarded by, Twitter, Facebook,
Right.
TV ads you just talked about.
Right.
And they get information overload, and then they don't do anything, which is
Okay.
the worst thing.
That's-
So I come in and try to say, okay, let's cut through the minutia here.
Yep.
And let's get down to brass tacks. This is what you need to look at. People are living longer. People want to age in place. They want to stay in their house. They don't want to go to assisted living. They
Yep.
don't want to, worst case is a nursing home.
Right.
So people are staying in their home to age. Well, what comes with that, as they stop, everybody unfortunately breaks down.
Right.
Things happen.
Yep.
So we need to bring people in to help them take care of whatever those breakdowns are.
Okay.
So they can stay in the home. That costs money. I help people put together programs that will pay for that help.
Okay.
All right. They may want to look at downsizing. I recommend to people, you have all these different trinkets in your house, start either giving it away or have an estate planner come in and you dictate where you want different things to go.
Okay.
Because if you don't, what happens is you're gone tomorrow, and I've seen it. It's a family mess.
Yeah.
Mom wanted me to have that. No, she wanted me to have that. You need to do that while you're still alive.
Right. Okay.
All right. So, but again, the financial longevity planning, it's just part of that.
It is.
Do people downsize their house? Well, I
By
have
downsizing, you mean moving to a smaller house?
moving to a small
All
house.
right. Yep.
I have real estate agents that I have
Okay.
contacts with.
Yep.
And I can help a client, if I want to downsize, talk to this person over here.
Okay.
And they'll help you with whatever you're trying to do.
Okay, but all right. What about all right? So let's say you have a situation where you have a married couple that their kids are all grown and gone, the mortgage is paid, but but obviously they still have their bills, but they don't want to downsize. They're happy where they're living. Can you help them with that? I mean, what you're saying is people sometimes they need to downsize in order to, have more money. But they say they're healthy and they have another 20 or something years to go.
Yeah, I'm saying downsize because they may not want to stay in a big house.
But let's say they have a medium size, that's not huge. Let's say they're happy there, regardless of the size. I mean, if the mortgage is all paid for, is it going to be more? Wouldn't it make? I mean, you take it on a case by case basis.
Everybody's situation is different because
right.
Whether they have a 401k,
Yep.
whether they have a pension plan from work,
Right.
Social Security comes in,
Right.
takes and plays a part. Everybody's situation is different of what the income coming in and what their expenses are and what their desires are.
Okay.
So I'm a good listener, but I'm also a good person. Advisor to
Right.
say, okay, based on what I heard, these are the things that I probably recommend that you think about.
Okay.
The client always makes the final decision. I don't make the decision.
Right, of course.
They do.
What about investments though? Do you help people with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of investments?
It's across the board.
Stocks, bonds,
Pretty much different,
fiduciary, like you said, 401ks.
yeah, different investment platforms.
Okay.
Let's say with BlackRock. And there are different companies out there, but again, I can't really, talk about any particular investment product until I sit down with that person
Okay.
and find out where they're at, what they already have,
Okay.
what other things may complement those.
Okay.
So that's
That's what it's-
kind of the answer with that. But that being said, there's a lot of different investment choices
Yeah.
that people have
Right.
that can help them going forward. Or they may have something they already have. Now they're retired. They don't have the support that they had where they were working. Now they need somebody else to take a look at it and carry it forward
Okay.
to make sure that it's invested properly as they go forward. And I help them with that also.
Okay. What would you say what would you say the average age range of your clients are? I mean, or do you have no average age range? I mean, it must be pretty fast.
1 to 80.
1 to 80. Okay.
It's all over the map.
Okay. But I mean, all right. Can you?
But
like,
probably my sweet
middle-aged
spot.
people
yeah,
are probably the most
probably
prevalent.
the people that I'm trying to communicate to and explain to them how important this is.
Yeah.
Early 50s.
Yeah.
up,
Okay.
all
Got
right?
it. Okay. So they're
That's
already
where
like past middle age.
Right.
Right. Okay. Okay.
But I have again, I'm working with a lot of my clients' children because I worked with them, and now the children need help.
Right.
Because the children now have graduated college,
Yep.
getting married, want to buy a house. Okay, well, Huffnagel is the guy that helped me. He can help you. I sit down with them, and I help them out going forward.
Okay. So you've already helped generations of people.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
yeah.
In the years you've been at Mass.
43 years.
How many?
43.
43 since '78 when you were doing
And
insurance.
I only look like I'm 50.
Right, it's true. But all right, but back in '78 you were doing insurance, right?
Well, back in '78, I was in the corporate side of it,
Okay.
understanding how to support people like myself in the field.
Right.
And then I flipped myself. I went into the field, having that background, which was very important. So I understood how the corporate side worked to help me do my job better working with people.
Okay, I understand. So now you're more of a. What did you major in at Stonehill?
Accounting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I assume that you probably, when you sit down with your clients, I assume their CPA is often involved too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
CPAs, attorneys.
Yeah.
And if a person doesn't have a CPA or an accountant, again, I have those individuals I can refer them to.
Okay.
I want to make sure that when I'm talking to a person, they have a capable person to do their taxes, and depending on where they're at with their career or their age,
Yep.
If a 22-year-old may not need an estate planning attorney because they're too young.
Right.
But someone that's 45, 50 needs to start thinking about that because now they're entering, they have children, they have a house, they have a wife.
Okay.
Something happens to them, they need to have at least a basic estate plan in place.
Right.
Whether it's a simple will, they need to have that because if they don't,
Right.
it's kind of a mess.
Yeah, I know.
Something
It
happens.
can be a huge
Right.
mess. Yeah. Okay. Now my brother's 58. I don't even know if he has a will yet, and my nephew's 14.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, he's a pretty smart guy. He helped me out with my with this deal that I told you with my driver's license.
Right.
Okay. What about in the aspect of health planning? How do you deal with that?
Health, I
Health.
don't get involved with health insurance, but
No,
again,
I don't mean insurance. I mean, do you advise people on how to stay healthy?
okay, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
What do you tell them?
I tell, my wife yells at me because I'm always talking to people about this because I'm doing it myself. I'm intermittent fasting.
Okay.
I work out 3 or 4 times a week.
Cool.
I watch what I eat.
Yep.
I don't do anything crazy.
Right.
So I'm trying to promote that to people because that's the key thing to keep you living longer.
Right.
No, don't smoke.
Right.
I've never smoked. Just simple things like that.
Okay.
That type of advice to a person, in addition to what they're trying to do in their life, whether they're working. The other thing is people are working, they may retire, but they have another 20 to 30 years to go.
Right.
So they have a second or third career going now. And I say to them, you need to keep yourself busy. That's the other thing.
It is true.
You just can't, like if you have a vacation home, you just can't sit on the porch and throw the fishing line out in the lake. That's not going to work because your body's going to get stagnant.
That's
It's
right.
going to decay. You need to stay active.
Right.
I'm not saying run a marathon every year.
No, I know that.
But, doing some type of physical activity, watching what you eat, don't drink a lot, don't smoke, those type of things.
Okay, so
Now,
why does your wife get on you about that?
Because I talk to people about,
what does she think that you're being too pushy? I mean, that's what you want to do. And she must understand that.
well, it's the proverbial, if you were doing something, I don't know, any type of occupation.
Right.
Whenever you see somebody, you're talking about it, it drives people crazy because she's heard the story so many times.
Okay, I'm sure she has, but
Yeah.
but the idea is you got to keep telling the story. That's what you do.
Right.
Now speaking, you'd be very proud of me because I work out every day, and
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I know you, and
Yeah.
I'm a vegan. I've been a vegetarian for 39
Excellent. Good.
years,
Good.
and all I eat are fake meats, basically, and olives and smooth and naked smoothies.
Yeah.
And I live on that.
Good.
Oh yeah, and I feel pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And I guess what I would tell people, I'm giving you some advice about working out. If you tell people in your 60s or whatever, work out every day, and if you still feel good, have yourself a nice healthy breakfast of very good tasting comfort food, and you'll feel great.
Right.
And if they can do it every day and still maintain that good feeling, then they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Well, I think the whole thing is staying active.
That's absolutely right.
Staying active and socializing because
Yes.
coming out of the whole COVID situation,
Yeah.
you're reading articles. I read a couple of articles in the journal recently that people are kind of having a hard time getting back into a social environment
Right.
because they've kept themselves cooped up for a year and a half.
Right.
And it's kind of funny that human nature is doing that to a person. So as you're aging in this longevity phase,
Yep.
you want to have friends, you want to join, this pickleball game now is taken off.
Okay.
And anybody can do that if
What's
you can hold
pickleball?
it.
Is that a computer
It's
game?
like tennis.
Oh,
But
I see.
on
It's a like
it's a smaller version of tennis.
So people get together and hit a ball over a net.
It's a slower game than tennis.
Okay.
But that's taken off. But I'm just saying, be part of something like that.
Okay.
Have friends, family, stay socially active.
Of course.
Because that's important also.
All right. Well, I'm autistic, so the fact that I'm doing a show like this is pretty impressive. And
Good for you. Wow.
yeah, I know. And the thing is, my social life is actually pretty, believe it or not, except for the show, it's pretty limited. But I do what I can. Like for instance, the other day I went down to one of my other stations in Wareham and had an awesome meeting with the people there. Were having an open house. They praised me for being a great new producer for for my show there, which is Topic Time. Even though I'm not a Wareham resident. And the only reason I went down there last year was because I needed an outlet to do my show on a day when Carver was closed because it was Veterans Day.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm always looking for an excuse to hook up with people, and that's a good thing.
Excellent. Good.
It
Yep.
is. It's true.
Yep.
So I'm trying to live your advice to the best of my ability.
And doing this all the time too.
Oh, absolutely. I always
yeah.
say that it's therapeutic for me.
Yep.
It's absolutely right. So how many families have you worked with? Let me see. What's the longest generational group of people you've worked with so far?
I think I have a couple of third generations.
Third generation.
So the client,
Yep.
their children, and that children's children. Very few though, but I think there's two of them.
Okay.
But I want to lead into before
Okay.
we run out of time.
Yep.
Is Bay State Financial sponsoring a webinar.
Okay.
And they have an individual that's going to talk about this longevity process.
Great.
For about an hour.
Okay.
It's on October 14th.
All right.
From
Where?
11 to 12.
Where?
It's a webinar. It's
Oh,
at
it's
the comfort
online.
of your own home.
Okay.
Right. But you have to register for it.
All right.
All right.
Well, we'll put the information on the
Yeah,
graphics
okay,
when we put it up. That's great. Okay, it's just one day on October 14th from 11 to 12 in the morning. Is
Right.
that it?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
That looks pretty.
There's a workbook you get ahead of time. It's very, very, for people that are in their mid-50s, 60s, and early 70s, it's a very beneficial topic. they're gonna be, it's called 8,000 Days.
That's a Saturday, by
Underst-
the way. Wait a minute, no, wait a minute.
It's a
October-
Thursday. Thursday.
You're right, I screwed up, because so it's during the week.
8,000 Days, Understanding Life Through the Eyes of the MIT Age Lab.
Okay,
So when you say that to a person, MIT is like, oh, it must be tremendous because it's MIT.
right.
It is. MIT is not a slouch entity, but again, talking about what I talked about before, this whole longevity paradigm that we're entering
Yep.
with people our age going forward,
Yep.
it's huge.
It is.
And it's for marketing, for government resources. So that's why they have MIT involved, because they need to research it to come out and say, okay, these are the things that are going to happen
Okay.
down the road.
All right, well, guess what? We're down to the final 5 minutes. We're under
Okay.
5 minutes, so we made the hour, we have half hour go by. So like I told you at the beginning, you did a great job, but what I want you to do is look at the camera with the red light and give shouts out to people. You can start with Joe, your wife, kids, if that applies, and then we'll wrap the show up the way we began.
Well, I have a great family. I have 2 children. Kevin, my son, works for Google, and my daughter just got married a month ago.
Congratulations.
She's living in New Jersey with her husband,
Cool.
Caleb, and everybody's doing well. Been married to the same woman 34 years.
Okay,
Yep. I
nice.
don't want to get that wrong. Again, still living in Marshfield and thoroughly enjoy what I do, helping people. And again, I'm excited because this whole longevity planning is so important today to help people recognize it, help them plan accordingly, and carry it forward to make sure they don't run out of money and protect their assets in case they get sick.
Okay, well, great job. I hope you had fun with me.
I did. Thank
Hope
you.
we covered
I
as mu-
appreciate your inviting me.
I appreciate
It's
you.
been a pleasure.
So,
Yeah.
Just before we wrap it up, do you have anything down besides the webinar? Is there anything else? Did something
It's
coming up?
it's always ongoing.
Okay,
There's always something new every couple of months that Bay State Financial supports for topics like this.
all right, great. If you and again, one other thing, if you had a good time with me, you know anybody that has an interesting story to tell, no matter what it is, have them. You got my digits. Have them text me. We'll get them
Yep.
in here as one of my locations for a show.
Okay.
That's how I do it.
Sounds good.
All right, Kevin.
All right, Harrison,
Alfred,
thank you.
Great job.
All right, thank you.
folks. Thanks for watching Topic Time. More great episodes to follow. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.